Hi, I'm reading Free Gift with Purchase, My Improbable Career in Magazines and Makeup by Godfrey-June. Free Gift with Purchase is by Godfrey-June. Acknowledgements to my teachers. Thank you, Gary June, India June, Wiley June, Adam Smith, Hilton, Als, Kim France, Lydia Wills, Mayor Russ, Jennifer Scrubby, Shane Arhart, Kimberly Kainer Meisner, Liz Flahive, Christina Mueller, and Dawn Spinner. I hope I pronounced those names right. Chapter 1. I know you are, but what am I? You all know the studies, how beautiful people make more money, do better in school, etc., than anyone else. I think when you look at a truly beautiful person, you think, we're still in the same species, no? If humanity shares 95% of its DNA with a fruit fly, how much must I be sharing with this gorgeous person here? You want to think you're a little like them. I'm not, never was, and never will be a beautiful woman. I'm perfectly lovely, and I feel confident in my powers to fulfill whatever sexual and or romantic aspirations I might have. But turn heads, take breath away beauty? No. Like, if I were the next person after you to go out with your ex-boyfriend, you'd see me at a party and think, oh, okay. Whereas if I look like Kate Moss or Sophia Loren, you might freak out a little. I used to think I was ugly. I guess everyone does. Models are always going on and on about how hideous they are, and everyone teased them, and suddenly they found themselves in St. Bart's getting $10,000 a day to have their picture taken. At first, it wasn't even about being ugly per se. I was concerned only that people would mistake me for a boy. Gender issues. My mother likes short hair. She and her mother, Grandma Helen, generally a more programmer operative, but she towed the line in short hair, were at their happiest during the Dorothy Hamill period. Doesn't she look nice? Was the refrain of the day. Wherever we went, wherever the shiny ducktails would bob nonsensely past, my hair at the same was very early Kurt Cobain, minus the bleach, and a source of great tension among us. All I cared was that it was long, so people would understand I was a girl. My mother is anti-glamour through and through. Physical appearances mean nothing to her, despite the fact that she herself is stunningly attractive and indeed has plenty of glamour to throw around. She steadfastly refuses to acknowledge it. I spent my childhood wading through mud pits and setting up tents in the middle of blizzards, eating wheat bread, and wearing battered pairs of toughskins on what seemed like an endless hiking expedition. Pre the Dorothy Hamill era, when I was too small to have much influence on my hairstyle, she kept my hair in a pixie. So cute, so spreadingly right. Everyone thought I was a boy. So how old are your boys? I remember some jovial park ranger asking my parents when bending down with a lollipop or something. Well, hello there, mister. I stared at him coldly until my little sister finally broke down and took a lollipop. On a school trip to Angel Island when I was 6, I had to be rescued from the shallows of San Francisco Bay when I refused to respond to the teacher's aides calling me in from the shore. Little boy, little boy. I don't see a little boy, do you? Was the expression I made that they were too far away to see. I shrugged and ran my hands through the thigh-deep water and concentrated on other things, so as to not hear the shrill, urgent warnings. I thought about shells or sea urchins or something. Some irritated mother or aide or teacher eventually came roaring out, perhaps splattering her smock dress with seawater, further irritated to find me unalarmed, nonchalant, defiant. I bit a mustached hairdresser badly on one occasion as he bent over me in the big beige chair by the shampoo sink one day. The shop was full of those mini mall hair salons that smell violently of wet, snipped hair and mysterious chemicals. I watched the bits of hair, featherish and a lighter brown than I associated with the hair on my head, fall like large, itchy tears into the tarpish plastic gown velcroed around my neck. The shears clipped in their grinding, icy, metallic fashion. A scuffle ensued. Somehow I managed to draw blood. A second hairdresser was sent to finish the job. He cut it even shorter, in big dramatic swaths that sailed to the floor. A cream-colored linoleum embossed with rivulets of gold sparkles that ran through it like ore in clumps. "See, you look so pretty now," the second hairdresser said in a tone that might have reflected vengeance or pity. That night, I suggested that my little sister give her doll a haircut. We had new dolls. Hers had brown hair. I grabbed for the blonde. It took some convincing. "No," she screamed. "I got the scissors. The right-handed for the right-handers only ones, so that she could do it herself." "She'll look really pretty," I promised her. "Maybe I'll cut my doll's hair when you're through." I went to the other room and got the green-handled scissors as a show of good faith. Her doll got a very chic Louise Brooks bob. Mine, as you probably can imagine, decided in the end to keep hers long. I never thought about the fact that I felt ugly one day until the second grade, when I woke up with a bloody nose that wouldn't stop. The ordeal involved a trip to the hospital, but I was fine. I showed up to school a little late, my nose still encrusted with dried blood, but fine. "I'm not going to play with you today," said Julia Ann, the richest little girl in my class. A rich girl, so rich she wore a floor-length dress with her long blonde doll-like hair every day, possessed a dollhouse that was an exact copy of her own glorious mansion, and had ridden in a helicopter with Richard Nixon himself. I know I'm stacking the dock, but I have to add one more thing. On Halloween, little Julia Ann wanted to be a Southern belle, so her parents dressed her in an authentic, meaning actual antique, Southern belle costume in precisely her second grade size, right down to the miniature antique Southern belle shoes that fit, and the miniature antique belle parasol by her side. "I'm not going to play with you today," said Julia Ann, looking at my nose uncomfortably. "You're ugly." Even after the nose had healed, the fact was still there. Beyond the boy hair, I had freckles, and the attendant pale, blotchy skin. I lived in California, where everyone was tawny and smooth and honey-colored and fringed with pool bleached longer than pixie hair. I'd like to say I moved out past these obsessions, but the truth, as your therapist will tell you, is that people rarely make it past the world of childhood. To this day, my hair is long, or longer. Someday, God willing, I'll grow into one of those disconcerting 90-year-olds who will let their age-ravished hair fall about to their shoulders like overcooked pasta, eerily telegraphing the flickers of sexuality that still apparently lie beneath. That is, if I make it to 90, after they discover the hideous toxicity of self-tanner in which I all but bathed. In my next life, I'm coming back as a beauty editor. Do you have any idea how good you have it? Hands down, you got the best job in America. No, I've seen everything. You get paid for doing this? I remember the first time I walked into a beauty editor's office. It was delightful and disgusting all at once. Shelves upon shelves, choking with bath gel, perfume, foundation, lotion, conditioner, lip gloss, eyeshadow, cellulite treatments, seaweed serums. To one side, a random collection of gifts, from Poochie scarves to yoga mats to novelty chocolates shaped like miniature blow dryers, to another additional cachet of lipsticks, soaps, and shampoos, along with the odd makeup bag and terry cloth robe stuffed in wherever they fit. Every day, cosmetics companies send the beauty editors dozens of packages. My office gets 10 to 20 most days, carefully wrapped collections of whatever they're serving up next. We unwrap and we evaluate. Whether it's underserved access, American overconsumption in general, or blatant female vanity that sends you over the edge, my office contains enough incendiary material to fuel several thousand impassioned protest marches. A big, fat, little white lie. I don't look like I wear a lot of makeup. Neither do most other beauty editors I know. That would be the whole point of makeup, would it not? The idea is you but better. Your eyes but a little bit bigger, a little more entrancing. Your skin but with fewer blemishes, wrinkles, or blotches. Your lips just a bit tinty, more colorful, shiny, and appealing. On a typical day, my no makeup looks involve self-tanner, tinted moisturizer, under-eye concealer, mascara, and gel eyeliner, oil blotting sheets. I've switched from powder. If I want to look whole lot better, I will use a little cream blush. But this last step is rarely taken for reasons I myself don't understand. I also have to have my eyebrows plucked once a month. Perfume. Endless re-applications of lip gloss and or tinted balm. I am not one for a long-lasting lip product. I enjoy putting it on and on and on, and the color and the texture. I strive for it's barely there. I always have at least 3 imperfectly different tint, balm, gloss, sheer lipstick varieties rattling around in my bag, so as to be able to constantly change my look without changing my look. Then again, if you've ever waited stammering at a makeup counter while the salesperson wrapped up some overpriced item that you weren't even sure looked good on you, but since you wasted their time and they were so insistent, you bought it anyway, the concept of being able to try on a few colors without shrill sales pitch attached to it is so wildly compelling. It's like candy, all those little boxes and bottles. A magpie would cock its head and turn its eye as to take in all the glittering possibilities and probably lose its mind forever right then and there. Beyond my office, though, is the beauty closet, which is about 1,000 times worse. The word closet is actually a misnomer. When I worked at Elle magazine, the closet was actually an office the size of a large bedroom, lined with beauty item crammed shelves. Now at Lucky, it's 3 huge walk-in size closets, again with the shelves, again with more hope in a jar than you could shake a stick at. There are various cosmetic pioneers who lay claim to the phrase, hope in a jar. Whoever said this was very perceptive. Nowadays, the jars reflect all manner of hopes and dreams, thanks to all the target marketing and brand building and niche identifying. You've got the wrinkle erasing dream and the clear skin dream. You've also got much more, from a cleaner earth, Aveda, to a more glamorous life, Chanel, to an edgier, punkier sense of femininity, Stila. You've got the hardcore city girl glam, MAC, Urban Decay, and the Park Avenue Estee Lauder, and the dermatologic stamp of approval, and that started with Clinique and has recently escalated into Dr. Perricone and Dr. Brandt and Strivectin SD. The hands down most popular dream, cosmetic brand-wise, is what I'd like to call Simone. The Simone. Simone isn't real. She's an imaginary, dewy, health-excluding French girl. Simone is maybe 19, spends a lot of her time naked in spa-like settings, and when she speaks, she purses her plummy, puffy lips to say the word pure. Or because she's French, it comes out pure. If you want to convince people to buy skincare of any sort, Simone is the woman to sell it to them. Clarins, Lancome, Chanel, L'Oreal, Ramide, Soths, and Darpin, Yves Rocher, Claudel are all selling you a Simone. The accent of Estee imbues the Estee Lauder brand with lots of Simone. Simone is why there's French on the back of the Origins bottle. The Shiseido compact and the Maybelline lip pencil. Despite those brands' respective utterly un-French pedigrees and attitudes. It's confounding, but it works intellectually. I know I don't want to be a French exchange student in any way, but Simone is wildly compelling nonetheless. Like fashion, beauty items are an easy way to try on a new identity, kind of like a costume, as in fashion. Some of the options are ridiculous and some are fantastic at the very least. Trying everything on can be a lot of fun. The beauty closet is like a giant costume box full of potential identities that are otherwise under heavy guard from smiling, heavily made up salespeople armed with perfume spritzers. Their freedom to sift through all the possibilities without having to deal with the fries with that, advisors with all their advice about what you need and what you don't and what you're supposed to push on you in this month is enough to make most people's heads spin. People tend to freeze up when the door to the beauty closet is finally open. What to look at first, who to be. I get between 50 and 200 products a day. Each package usually contains numerous items. Some of them are new, some of them just reminders, some of them gorgeous and innovative, and most of them just sold some dull cream purporting to moisturize some portion of your body, often wrapped up in an equally uninspiring package. The good stuff goes into the closet, either to be photographed for the magazine or to be saved as gifts. The less interesting stuff goes straight to the office help yourself giveaway pile, the place where fashion editors put the mismatched socks and discontinued necklaces, the design editors, the oddly patterned pot holders, and the beauty editors, the shade of nail polish that didn't make it into the article. The fungible truth. Many eye pencils come from the same factory in Germany, though everybody's got their own secret formula. Some are more fabulous than others. Sometimes it's all about the packaging. In some cases, drugstore brands are better. In some cases, department stores ones are. This is not to discount the power of a good package. If the more glamorous looking moisturizers make you feel prettier, isn't that that's half the battle there, isn't it? Along similar lines, some things are pricey simply because people want to buy something pricey. When I worked at Unique Homes, a luxury real estate magazine, certain fancy houses were in places where they had no neighbors. No real basis for what their price should be. On some deserted coast in Mexico, ranches way up somewhere in Wyoming, private islands, that sort of thing. So they'd advertise the property at $9 million one month, and $29 million the next, $17 million the next. And the cheapest didn't always win. It was all about finding the price that someone wanted to pay. The same principle applies to beauty products. They make the $450 eye creams and $60 pots of lip balm because someone wants to pay exactly that much. Nothing from the cosmetics counter is going to erase your wrinkles. It might reduce the appearance, but that's a different thing. The thing that constantly amazes me is that there's a market for even the most cutaneous, obvious, ridiculous, straight to the giveaway pile items. The world is full of statistics about how many small businesses fail and how likely it is that the restaurant you're opening will be out of business in 3 years. But the reverse is true of beauty products. I've seen beauty companies going out of business, but relatively few of them, to be honest. The really good ideas are rewarded with zillions. Somewhere near her mansion in the Steven Spielberg Cape Capshaw sector of the Hamptons, makeup artist Bobby Brand docks a boat with the name TYLL. Thank you, Leonard Lauder. Lauder being the company that bought hers. Jeannie Lobel, the makeup artist who created Stilla, told her husband, Anthony Edwards, he could quit being Dr. Green on ER when she sold her company to Lauder. Roxanne Quimby, the woman who created Burt's Bees, bought the largest piece of land ever sold in the state of Maine, happily so it could be preserved forever rather than logged or built on, with the proceeds from her business. Hairdresser John Frieda was already a wealthy man when Jergens bought his 10-year-old hair company for $450 million. Wow. While they're busy making their millions, whatever they send that's truly irresistible goes straight into my bag. If I love it as much as I think I'm going to love it, we'll call in a new one to photograph. It's exactly like shopping, except the mistakes don't cost money and the salespeople are much less withholding. I do love my job. What I love most, I think, is that it's impossible to take seriously. So much of it's insane and ridiculous and silly. My beloved shrink tries valiantly to float a "but you're helping all these women feel better about themselves" argument ever so often. But I've got a cousin who sits in front of a microscope all day helping find cures for pediatric cancer. Me, I ponder lipstick. There are shining pots of ruby gloss, sheer washes of cheek stain, velvet black sweeping lashes. I'm surrounded by mountains of face cream and shampoo. Certainly not all of it beautiful, but somehow it speaks to me. Chapter 2 will be next. Thank you for listening.